It's Sean from Shootie School. I just released my EZDrummer 3's Drums Tab course. It's a full curriculum for beginners just starting out all the way to advanced users. From simply defining features to advanced workflows so you can get your own custom drum tones from Toontrack's EZDrummer 3. There's 15 videos, over 2 hours of content. I zoom in and out of the screen so you can see the details in smaller text, and I'm on screen with you while you watch the course. So there is a presence of energy, momentum, and encouragement. Check out the reviews at ShootieSchool.com and consider picking up Shootie School's Drums Tab course and bring your EZDrummer 3 skills to the next level. Check out a free video from the course. The link is down there in the description, or come over to my YouTube channel Shootie School to get a vibe of my teaching and production styles. Rock on. If you're not watching live, waiting for this stream to start, and you're watching the restream, go ahead and fast forward to the 5-minute mark where I start the show. But before you do, here's some resources where you can go to get support or socialize about Toontrack stuff. On Facebook, there's the Toontrack users group. It's a great community. J-Rock over there is great with keeping up to date on Toontrack's press releases and product announcements. There's also the Toontrack EZDrummer group on Facebook. It's EZDrummer only, and it's a fantastic place for beginners to go. Or if you want to hang out with me and get my support, I have the Shootie School's Toontrack Speak Easy Facebook group. I show up there once a day. I provide support and socialize, and I also have a Discord server. Besides that, I do have a members program. There's 2 paid tiers. They're both really inexpensive, where you can see either pre-release content or get exclusive content and support from me personally. Also keep in mind, the first Saturday of every month, I do this stream live. So subscribe so you can get into the chat. You can shoot questions at me. Sometimes the users in the chat dictate what happens in the stream. Sometimes I have some prepared content. Anything goes, anything can happen. So hang out for another moment or two and we'll get this stream started. What's up, everybody? Welcome to my first Saturday of the month live stream. I'm Sean from Shootie School. Let me just do a quick blazing intro because I got quite the curriculum or content to cover today. I hope everybody's doing fantastically. Check out ShootieSchool.com for hundreds of free tutorials, mostly Toontrack themed. And check out my Facebook Shootie Schools Speak Easy group for live Toontrack support. I go down there probably once a day to support Toontrack users, maybe like yourself. Anthony's probably in the chat plugging these links for me. I also have a support Discord server, so if you're more into Discord, more forum-oriented support, come down to my Discord server. You might hear someone talking in my ear. That guy's name is Anthony. He is the Sind Knight. So hop over to his Facebook page and give him a quick like. You could even do it right now while we're live right here. I have so many tabs up to run the stream nowadays. This is nuts. Toontrack has some weekend deals going out. There's a couple $9 MIDI packs if you're using EZMix. There's also 2 EZMix packs, and the older SDXs are on sale for dirt. Actually, that's an EZX. So there's an older SDX for $72. The Metal Foundry, I think Testament used that one or something like that. I don't know. I've used it a long time ago, and it was amazing then. Haven't really pulled it up recently to give it a more modern comment. I love Made of Metal too. I think some of my favorite metal hi-hats are in there. And that's about it for the intro. What I'm going to do today is I want to do kind of a guide to funk and fusion products by Toontrack. And man, it's just going to be a trailblazing experience throughout this month since the Fusion EZX came out, which I did a video for. I was like, maybe I'll toy with just putting together a couple demos for the stream this month, kind of taking the easy way out of doing my live stream. And then maybe the past 2 or so days, I started really looking into all the other products that were related to funk and fusion. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is just a lot of little tiny gems to find that aren't right on the surface. And kind of last minute, I said, well, let me just trailblaze a guide instead. And that's what I'm going to attempt to do today. And there's so much information on the top of my head. I hope I get it all out. But if I don't, just know that there's a page on my website, which is what we're looking at right now. Yes, luckily we are looking at that. All my notes on what I'm going to cover today is here. And if you're really into the subject of funk and fusion, you can just go to this web page and make sure you get all that information in. So I'm going to put this in the chat right now, and I'll put it in the description later. I'm going to watch this stream tomorrow, read all the live comments, maybe learn from you guys a little bit. But let me throw this link in the comments just so it's where I'm exclaiming it. Oh, well, let's get to the comments. And this Sean Ludwig right there, man, dude. Thank you so much, man. I appreciate it so much. Thanks for coming. John's been with me for a long time, and let's get this party started. I wonder if you're into funk and fusion or not. Mark, what's up from the UK? Steven, what's up? Look at that member rank, man. Look at John and Steven's member rank, and Bob's up there, dude. These guys have been with me for a while. So Bob, welcome. Steven, welcome. John, welcome. Mark, welcome. Mark's actually supports me as well. He just happens to be on my Patreon, not as a YouTube member. So John, you rock, man. Thank you so much for supporting me. I really appreciate it. No need to get my special effects chat up since I've already read the chat. But if you're lurking, simply hit the subscribe button, come into the chat, and say hi at any time. So I'm going to kill this music, and we're going to get it started. Always worthwhile. Yeah, we'll see how today goes, man. Whew. I did so much pre-production last minute. I hope I can spit it all out. So it's been in my head for like the past 72 hours. Corkin, welcome, dude. I appreciate you coming, man. Welcome back. George, that is. Righteous. What screen am I on? Figure this out. That should be good. If I'm not on the right screen in a moment, Anthony, just let me know. I think I'm 10, 15 seconds behind you. So what I want to cover first is the fusion stuff up front because there's barely any of it, okay? And, you know, as I was looking into all these products, whether it's funk or fusion, I actually started questioning myself if I even understand the definitions of funk and fusion, because actually more so fusion myself, actually. And so, Anthony, can you
tell us what fusion is before I get into fusion. I'd appreciate that. Anthony has a much deeper, more mature voice than I do. So yeah, kick it off for me if you can, Anthony.
Fusion music, often called jazz fusion or jazz rock fusion, is an adventurous genre that took shape in the late 1960s and 1970s, spearheaded by innovators like Miles Davis and Herbie Hancock, blending jazz's improvisational depth with the energy of rock, funk, and sometimes world music influences. It's characterized by its eclectic complexity. Think intricate harmonies, odd time signatures, and dazzling instrumental solos, delivered through a mix of guitars, keyboards, and jazz staples like saxophones or trumpets. Unlike funk's singular groove, fusion thrives on exploration, weaving dynamic shifts and virtuosic flair into tracks like Davis's Bitches Brew or Weather Report's Birdland, appealing to listeners who crave both cerebral stimulation and rhythmic punch. It's a boundary pushing hybrid rooted in jazz, but electrified and expanded for a broader experimental palette.
Thank you, dude. And your mic production's awesome today. I appreciate that.
Thank you.
When I went to music school, my funk and fusion background's not all that elaborate. I'm a huge funk fan just from the classics I've been hearing my whole life, but when it comes to fusion, I like how it said, I took notes while Anthony was reading that. I like how it name dropped Herbie Hancock, because when I was in music school for guitar, I was at Musicians Institute in Hollywood, man, the teacher was like, forget the curriculum, everyone's learning the song Stratus, which I don't think it's a Herbie Hancock original. He covered it, one or the other, and oh my goodness, did that just open my head up to like something that wasn't Metallica at the moment. This is a while ago, a long time ago, by the way, 20-something years ago. So I can appreciate, and I got into fusion a little bit. There's one thing I want to point out before I get started. Fusion is jazz-based, but it's not quote-unquote jazz. So that's why we're covering so little up front about fusion, because if this was a guide to jazz, there would be a lot more content, but it's not. It's that alternate genre of fusion. So that's all I wanted to say. And yeah, check out Stratus by Herbie Hancock. Oh my goodness, it's so beautiful. It's a beautiful thing. But with that said, let's take a look at a couple of fusion products here. So here's kind of a disclaimer up front for fusion and funk. Hopefully I say it again later, is if you have a drummer that's simply playing fusion licks on the drum kit, or you have quality MIDI that you're feeding into EZDrummer, it almost doesn't matter what sounds you're using. It's going to sound like fusion because the writing is fusion. So we're covering what Toontrack claims in their marketing is fusion sounding. In fusion, there'll be only a little bit of content. In funk, there'll be a ton of content. So let's get in and see what happens. So obviously, I'm not going to cover this too in depth, but that funk EZX did just came out. Excuse me, the fusion EZX did just come out, and it's a monster, and I completely review it to death. Every sound, every moment on my channel. Let me just put that in the chat real quick. Actually, it's right here. Good. Share, get over to chat. Fusion easy. So you can learn every little thing about it right there. But let's just check it out just for a second real quick. Let's just go over to the basic preset. And man, this thing is almost as big as an SDX, or at least some of the earlier SDXs. It takes forever for one of these presets to load. I also have a hard drive that's pissed off at me, so it shouldn't take this long. That's why it's kind of stalling for a second. If I had the angst, I would look up this hard drive I bought and give it a few minutes and just complain about it and tell you to never buy this brand. But don't buy cheap, buy corporate name brand hard drives that have good customer support. That's you'll save money down the road, in my opinion. But Fusion EZX, it's a monster. That is quiet. Oh. There we go. And I did kind of choose, I think, a funky fusion-y song, which is playing a little too fast. It should be at 100. It's a little better. Anthony, let me know if those drums are way too quiet for the stream.
They're coming through okay.
Great. There's actually a pro fusion area, which I think that just means a certain drum kit. Let's just check that out real quick. But like I said, I cover this to death in an official overview video, which I'll link below in the description tomorrow, and which is in the live chat. You can learn everything about this. This EZX actually has some great cowbell grooves, as we just happen to run into right now. And it has MIDI dedicated to the octoband or octoband grooves, which is absolutely fantastic. It's a monster.
Bring the drum volume up just a hair.
All right. Let's see, where should I do that? Let's see. Let's do it here. There we go. That seemed like a little boost right there. All right. So besides this EZX, there's only one single mention of fusion throughout the entire arsenal of EZDrummer 3. It's nuts. And like I said, I kind of gave you a disclaimer that you're going to find good fusion sounding stuff everywhere. This is just the marketing of fusion in Toontrack. And that is actually the Latin Cuban drums. This is a cool little kit. And I actually love what it looks like too. But it has, it actually has a preset labeled fusion. Of course, now that I'm live, I'm usually lucky when I'm live. Now that I'm live, of course, my hard drive's not going to be nice to me. It has one quote-unquote fusion drum kit. Hopefully my hard drive, it'll just wake up when it feels like instead of going slow. It's what you get for buying 2 terabyte hard drives for like $120 or something like that, you know? Oh, here we go. Check it out. Yeah, we'll just keep it on this track. It was a fun track. Let me play it from down here. The MIDI's awesome. This kit's so cute and unique, of course, since it has the Latin Cuban vibe to it. That's all the fusion-related marketing to EZDrummer. That one EZX and then this one single preset. But there's more in the other products, but it doesn't expound much more. Superior has, out of every single Superior SDX or core program, there's only one single preset that has the name Fusion in it. And remember, Fusion derives from jazz, so we could go crazy. You can just start looking up the jazz presets, but I'm just going after the marketing of Fusion. Well, good, we're getting some numbers now. Hey, welcome everybody. Welcome, welcome. But under the jazz sessions, now, jazz sessions comes with 4 separate libraries. If you pick jazz sessions 2 and go in the booth, they have this Fusion preset right here. And I don't know what song this is. It should be played at 96. Let's get the tempo down there. Let's check it out just for 2 seconds, just so we know it exists. I wonder if the snares are even on there. I think they are. It's just they're not accented at all. Can't really hear the snares. That's it for Superior for using the word fusion. And if you feel bummed out at all, you can just go after typical jazz stuff. That might be helpful. But who knows what modern fusion sounds like? You might if you're into fusion. By the way, do post your favorite fusion song. That's fine. You can post that song from YouTube or whatever, or in the future down below in the comments. Or more importantly, I'm curious what modern fusion, something that's come out recently, sounds like. You know, I scroll by this stuff in my feeds and watch little players jamming out little things, but I don't really know like that main artist that's putting out that most, you know, almost swore Anthony. I'm being careful though, I think. You know, do post like a solid modern fusion artist. I'd love to hear. But anyway, that's it for drums. Bass products. Let's check out Fusion Bass Products. And of course, what's inspired me to do a Fusion Funk Guide is because of the 2 releases that came out recently. So now there's the Funk.
Great not swearing.
Thank you, sweetheart. The Funk Fusion EBX that just came out. It's actually really cool. It's awesome. Let me see. This is at 135. Let's hear this track real quick. I didn't do an overview video for this. I'm about to, so I'm not going to spend too long on it. But if you're watching this a week or so after the stream, you'll just be able to click below and watch an overview on this video. This is a pretty cool product right here, but let's hear it here. This is one. Let me check something real quick. We're on the clean DI. I've got the controls open in case you're curious. You can lean in a little bit, but let's just check these presets out real quick because there's really no other Fusion products to check out except for a preset or two from a different EBX. Just mixing a little bit on my hardware controller. Ooh, those bass notes. Yeah. Got an auto wah. Let's get rid of the octaver real quick. That might be fun for some funk stuff right there. Not necessarily low down on the neck, but up here. Just thinking off the top of my head. It's called semi-synthetic. Interesting attack on that. This is probably the only moment during this stream where we're going to go preset to preset listening. Space bass, man. Fat chorus. Can definitely see that being in more progressive music right there. All right, so anyway, that's the Funk Fusion EBX, but there's two other things just to note real quick about Fusion when it comes to the EBX. And there are two other, let's see, the progressive metal EBX. This thing sounds pretty dry and clean. This might be a good base for anything modern, dry and clean, just off the top of my head. By the way, every preset I do on bass for this entire stream, it's all about finger articulations. I'm not even going to go after any pick ones, but Fusion ambience. Again, I'm kind of just going after the marketing of Fusion in Toontrack. It's so speculative, like, oh yeah, this bass tone will fit right in my Fusion song. I don't know, I mean, any bass tone played well. It's probably going to fit just about anywhere, a matter of taste and opinion. But I think like the secret weapon, the beast, would be the fretless. So anyway, that was the only other preset that had Fusion in the name. And on the fretless, you don't see Fusion in any preset name, but inside the description on the product page, it mentions Fusion. And I'm glad it did, because that's the first thing I thought of, is like, you got to get the fretless in there. And I don't know. A fretless bass playing the certain licks. It's like such a mature, experienced, yet elite sound, you know? Yeah. So that's it for, we're going to move on to funk in just a second. When it comes to Fusion, besides the two major products they just released, which was the EZBass Funk Fusion and the EZX Fusion, besides those two, there's just a splash of it here and there when it comes to sounds. When it comes to MIDI, there's a lot of MIDI products. Well, actually, let's get to that real quick before we go. Let's just look on my website so we can fly by this, because I don't want to take up too much time on it. But let's see. Fusion theme, sounding products, it's down here. Toontrack Fusion MIDI products. In EZDrummer 3, there's 2 Fusion songs. In EZX's, there's 5 Fusion songs in the Fusion EZX, and there's 1 Fusion song in the Gospel EZX. The Gospel bass sounds pretty cool, man. It sounds pretty cool. And there's, 6 drum MIDI packs for Fusion, Foundational Fusion, Fusion Grooves. Actually, I have the stats right here. Foundational Fusion has 10 Fusion songs. Fusion Grooves has 8 songs. Fusion Fills has hundreds of Fusion drum fills, not entire songs. It's just fills. Interesting. They're actually pretty awesome. Gospel Fusion drum MIDI has 8 Fusion songs. Linear Fusion has 10 Fusion songs. And Progressive Fusion has 10 Fusion songs. So there's a lot of content out there, right there for you to, if you're dependent on MIDI packs, there's a lot of Fusion stuff out there. So you're solid. That's what they're called. Or you can just go into, let's get EZDrummer up real quick. In case you don't know this, just go to the Grooves tab and select Show Web Shop MIDI, and you'll see all those products show up here on the side. You don't own them yet, but you can preview them and listen to them. So you just click that button. I have a video on it, but Anthony, if you have a moment, look up Web Shop on my YouTube channel and just post that video, that link in the chat.
Shall do.
Thank you. As for EBX MIDI, only the Fusion EBX provides 5 full songs of MIDI. And actually, I take that back. For EBXs, there's 5 songs of Fusion MIDI in the Funk Fusion, but for EZBass MIDI packs, there is a Fusion bass MIDI pack as well for another 10 songs. So that's 15 songs total for Fusion for EZBass. And for EZKeys, all right, since we're on the MIDI, EZKeys has 1 MIDI pack that has 10 songs. It's simply called Fusion EZKeys. And here's something that was a little kind of, I guess, disappointing. I think it's an oversight. I was almost thinking about going down to their forums just to let them know. So there's not one single EKX that is themed to Fusion, mentions Fusion in their product description in any way, shape, or form. And if you go over to Grooves and you go into the filters over here, the Fusion filter doesn't even exist. So it's almost like Fusion doesn't exist with EZKeys except for that one EZKeys MIDI pack. And if you want to find it, you could select Show Web Shop MIDI, but there's no Fusion filter. If you want to find it, quick tip, you'd have to type Fusion in right here just to find it, okay? So that's a bummer that EZKeys is, doesn't have a Fusion themed product yet. At the same time, you can find a bunch of killer sounds. You'll hear a lot of them when we go over funk, which we're transitioning over to funk. So that's Fusion. That's all there is. And I try not to spend too much time on it, but there is something there if that's what you want to get into. So yeah, let's move over to funk. Let me hop on the chat real quick and see if anyone else showed up. And in the meantime, Anthony, if you're on the mic, since Anthony gave us the definition of Fusion, do give us the definition of funk if you don't mind. Thank you.
Funk music is a raw, rhythmic genre that emerged in the mid-1960s from African-American artists like James Brown and Sly and the Family Stone, defined by its relentless focus on groove and feel. It hinges on a tight, syncopated interplay between bass, drums, and horns, with the emphasis locked on the one, the first beat of each measure, creating an irresistible, danceable pulse. Funk strips down complexity in favor of repetition and soul, layering gritty vocals, call-and-response hooks, and infectious riffs over a foundation that's all about movement and attitude. Think of tracks like Papa's Got a Brand New Bag or Funky Stuff. It's music that hits you viscerally, born from soul, R&B, and a rebellious urge to keep the party alive.
Yeah, man, there's a reason why I relate to funk more than jazz or to fusion. And of course, when I left my tiny hometown and went out to LA and went to an actual music school, I got my butt kicked by every other genre besides hard rock and metal. But You know, funk really has that right hand syncopation when it comes to melody on the, at least on the stringed instrument, not necessarily the vocal, but the melody or the chords always had sourness to them, at least when it comes to the classic traditional funk like James Brown, what Anthony just mentioned. So and sure, there's chord progressions in funk, but for I think the majority of the classic traditional funk, it's more riff oriented as opposed to chord progression oriented. So I feel like I really love funk, and I think like a few months ago, I actually bought like a James Brown, 6-disc collection on eBay, and then put all those CDs into my computer instead of buying them off iTunes or whatever. Because boy, you save money buying CDs like that and just syncing them in your computer. And I loved listening to that, man. So thank you, Anthony. And Scott, what's up, dude? Welcome, man. It's great to see you. Mark, welcome. Thanks, man. It's great to see you as well. And who else we got? And Tim's here as well. So, all right, we're gonna hop on to funk in just one moment. And I kind of had a little pre-production with this. I've got a couple bass songs laid out and maybe a couple keys songs laid out. So it'll probably be a little less static than my fusion presentation. But let me just hit the head real quick, and then we're gonna dive right into funk. I'll be right there. All right, let's rock and roll. Let's rock and roll. Actually, let's funk and roll. So let's start with EZDrummer Products. I think I got a funk song out. See if I have the right thing loaded. I don't. I did a little pre-production. Yeah, funk song. This funk song I'm going to use for us to audition, you probably already all own it. It's a funk song from the EZDrummer 3 core library, okay? And it's pretty fantastic. The tempo is what? I don't know what the tempo is. Bam, bam, bam. 109. Let's get over to 109. And it looks like I'm live, so let's rock and roll. So, disclaimer one more time. If you have a funk drummer sitting behind a kit, really doesn't matter what kit they're playing. If they're a good funk drummer, it's going to sound like funk. Or if you have good funk MIDI being sent to EZDrummer, it's going to sound great. So deciding what actually sounds like funk from a tones or a kit selection point of view, it's very subjective. But here's what Toontrack has promoted to sound like funk. But on top of that, I'm going to add my 2 cents coming from my favorite funk is the dirty, gritty stuff from the beginning times of funk. So I really feel like funk is pretty dry, pretty gritty, less ambient, super duper attack. So I'm going to add a little bit of my 2 cents opinion as well and show you a couple of the products that I think would work great for classic or traditional funk. And the same thing about fusion. I'm curious about what the heavy hitters of modern funk is. So if you have a suggestion or two, please put them in the chat. I'd love to check them out later and just enlighten my ignorance of what's happened over the decades, so. But anyway, first runner-up is one of my personal favorites, and this is my personal opinion that the claustrophobic EZX will work with funk. And boy, my computer's slow today, unfortunate. And it sounds pretty super tight and piercing at first, but man, if you know traditional funk like I do, you might go, damn, that's a good idea. This is such a cool MIDI song as well. That is groovy, man. That is groovy. It's interesting. I've always appreciated custom shop EZX. Let me hop over to that. But I've never really used it for a reason. I just keep running into it to say, oh, by the way, brushes are here or a good jazz kit's here. I've never loaded up myself. But the custom shop EZX, not in my opinion, but from Toontrack's marketing, it has a funk. Where are you? It has a funk preset. So check it out after it loads up. Come on, sweetie, get in there. I got to skip this intro. It's a little, as cool as it is, I don't want to wait that long. It has the harsh hi-hats to it. In a good way is what I'm saying. So if you own EZDrummer 2, or you own the modern vintage EZX, I think hop over to modern, and it has a quote-unquote tight preset right here. This one's my opinion. This is not marketed as funk. This is a good song, man. This MIDI's good from the core library. And then I kind of have like a blanket statement about the EZDrummer 3 Tight Room. When you buy EZDrummer 3, you get 3 separate libraries. Tight Room's one of those libraries. I mean, this is in a booth, so the ambience is toast. It's gone, so you get a dry sound. Plus, you have the options to throw towels on it. This whole library just sounds charming. And there's a really good chance you already own it, so just go through it and check it out. Can have towels, not have towels, but it all has that lack of decay, which is great for syncopated music. Funk is syncopated. It's a beautiful thing. So this whole library. Now, one of the first EZXs I ever used is when I was using EZDrummer 1, and I never owned EZDrummer 1. I was my boss who I worked at his studio. He had EZDrummer 1, and he had the Funk Masters EZX, which is actually 2 libraries based around 2 separate drummers. And this is just another, it sounds like funk. It sounds like not that old traditional funk that I'm kind of recollecting and appreciating. Sounds a little bit more modern, but would be great for that style of writing, that old school style of writing. It's got the, it's not a wood block, but it has a plastic block. How that snare sounds with ghost notes, man. So anyway, that's the Clyde library, and here's the 𝗪𝗪𝗡 library. So you get 2 libraries with this. There's only so many options for snares, so I'd say you want a ringy snare, use Jabo. You want a less ringy snare, use Clyde. Actually, I like the Clyde one better. Funk Masters is awesome. Comes with a ton of MIDI. We'll talk about Funk MIDI towards the end, though. Check the time. I guess not doing too bad here. So after that is the Fusion EZX, but we talked about it because we covered Fusion at the beginning of the stream. And I don't know, why is Fusion always mixed with funk? Because those two genres do cross paths, but I feel like they are not insanely directly related. It's just an opinion. So will the Fusion EZX work for funk? Yeah, there's some good stuff in here that'll work for funk, but I don't think it's marketed that way. There is a one single funk song in the Fusion EZX, I believe. Let me make sure I'm not speaking crap here. It's a great way to use your filters to answer questions like this. No, there's not. So I take that back. There's no Fusion music in here. Let's look at the names of the presets real quick. Oh, I pointed this out just because there's a lot of tight and dry presets in here you want to check out. Here's dry and bright right here. So this isn't officially promoted by Toontrack as funk. I just put it in here because there was a couple cool tight and dry presets. And of course, this thing's a behemoth, so it's going to take a second to load in. Come on, sweetheart, just do it. I wish I could have got a computer restart, but I have like a sequence I have to launch programs in. The kick drum sounds weird, actually. Besides that, this is a monster EZX. It's an absolute monster EZX. But that is not marketed as funk. Gospel has one single Fusion preset. So let's just hop on that and check that out real quick. What's it called? Soul Funky Punch. I like this EZX. It's rare for EZXs to have two isolated snare slots, so that's another cool reason to use it. E-drummers like that. I don't know. People just always want two snare slots for some reason. Sometimes I'll use them if they're there, but I don't mind using more than one instance of EZDrummer to get a blending technique going. Listen to the snares under that. Man, those snares hang out for a long time. Anyway, gospel has one funk preset to it. Now, hip-hop just makes me smile almost every time I hear it, because in this case, it's going to work, in my opinion, perfect for funk, especially older funk. It's just, again, lack of decay, emphasis on attack. But also when I hear hip hop, just to get off topic, like I hear like old break beats from like old hip hop rap bands like Public Enemy. Like it sounds exactly like that. It's awesome. It's probably pretty quiet. Let me see here. And it's not just one preset, man. You just go through them and they're pretty fantastic. I love that. I absolutely love hip hop. If we go down to, oh, by the way, there's no funk marketing to hip hop. That's just my opinion, by the way. In the Pocket, see if I know, here we go. In the Pocket has a single funk preset named funk. So this is something Toontrack says, hey, here's funk right here and modern funk right here. I think this is an older, this is an older EZX, but this is a very cool EZX. My MIDI controller not working. Crap. MIDI controller went to sleep. It's, thinking about that gospel snare drum we were hearing, I'm kind of hearing that vibe here too. So I wonder if that's helping decide, what the funk market is that really distorted, gritty snare. And it looks like in the pocket it has 2 isolated snare drums. It has a couple percussion perks as well. Extra cowbell, non-future hit tambourine. So there's value in this EZX right here. In my opinion, reggae, dude, where is it? I think the reggae EZX would just tear up some, for the lack, just give you a horribly obvious example. This would tear up like a James Brown song, in my opinion. That old gritty recording style. Sounds so cool. Toms sound interesting. I didn't consider that when I was previewing this the other day. By the way, this is the first EZX that's ever had octabands, but they're tuned so particularly for reggae. I don't really officially say these have octabands compared to the Fusion EZX, which has really good, obvious octabands, and that's 4 of them. Little steel snare, what do they call this? Timbale? Looks like a djembe. It's not what it's called though. But forget all the toys I clicked on. Just as a phaser, I don't want to hear that. This would sound like killer funk. Of course, those particular reggae snares that keep loading in, maybe not, but oh man, like total 16th note syncopated guitar funk licks over that. That sounds beautiful. My opinion though, Toontrack is not marketing this as funk at all. Signature Part 2, is it the booth or the main? Yeah, it's the booth. I loaded the wrong one up, of course. There's a couple EZXs that come with an extra library that puts you in a booth. Signature 2, not 1, that's 2 separate products. Signature 1's a different product. Signature 2's a different product. Signature 2 actually has a booth, which I didn't load up by accident. It's right here. Great tight sound in here. But it's just my opinion because it's a dry sound. Maybe that'll work for funk. This is not a quote-unquote funk sound. And Signature EZXs are also pretty heavy. As you can see, it's taking a bit to load. My computer's slow, but this is still a big EZX. Most of the modern ones are, so let's check this out real quick. I didn't write down what preset. I just liked this booth, is where I'm coming from. Oh, yeah. And the presets will let you add some roomy, some verb, or some ambience. Let's try drive, though, since funk's kind of having that grit feeling. Definitely hear it on top of the snare there. Hype. Wonder what hype means. Actually sounds great. There's a puff to that kick drum. Singer-songwriter. I was wondering if I should list every EZX that simply has towels, but I felt like that would be kind of spammy. I have a list. If you look up my brushes, my guide to brushes video, and I list every EZX that also has towels. So if you're just out looking for dry tones, less ambient tones, muted tones, I have a list that I present in that video. In this case, I thought singer-songwriter, the towel kit, I think there's one in here, towels. I thought this was pretty valid from a funk point of view. This is my opinion, Toontrack's not saying this is funk. I am. Classic. And my MIDI control is not working, bummer. So that's just one little tiny Easter egg. You might if you were here since the beginning of the stream, you see I was kind of thinking about just throwing together a couple funk demos today, but kept finding like Easter egg after Easter egg. And then, of course, I was throwing my opinion on it. I was like, let's just do a guide today instead. So that's why we're running through this. Now, Southern Soul 60s, I'll tell you, ever since I've owned this, which is I've owned this for a long time, I've been waiting for the day I actually appreciated it. I haven't. Until recently, now I realize, man, I should just play some old gritty funk from the 70s or whatever through this thing. And then I was like, it works. It's actually, it went from hard to hear to absolutely beautiful once I thought about throwing funk on top of this. So this is not Toontrack marketing. This is a funk kit. This is my opinion. This would be a great funk kit. Yeah, very harsh on the hats. I remember my impression from last night. I'm not going to go through these presets. I think that first preset sells it pretty good. Something about the chomp of that hat that kind of defines an era of music for me. I don't know if any of you feel that way, but I definitely feel that way when I hear those hats. UK pop. Just in my opinion, this has a towel kit that sounded pretty cool. Let's see. Tea towels, it's called. So another product I've never used for anything, but I keep referring to it because it has a specific feature that people want. And here's just an example of that. Oh yeah. It's like that snare attack sounds sandy, like you're rubbing, like you're putting sand on the floor and rubbing a shoe against it, you know? It's very cool, interesting, cute sound. Tight. I've got one more. I was kind of surprised to find this in here. Under Vintage Rock, there's 2 presets in here. I think it's the first 2. It's a pretty woody knocking sound. I can hear the snares just a tiny bit. It almost sounds like the wires are off. Oh, I wonder if the MIDI is doing it. The MIDI is probably hitting something else. Oh, so we're hearing rim shot, and the rim shot in this EZX sounds different. So, all right. Now we know. That's not what the snare sounds like. You get that sizzle on the decay of the snare from the snares? That's what I was hearing. I was like, yeah. That could definitely be funk. Definitely a lot of sustain now that I'm hearing this kit though. So here's something that's interesting is EZDrummer. EZDrummer has a lot of funk related stuff. EZDrummer just has a few glimpses. And let's hope these libraries don't take for more than a minute because I'll just have to bail out on using Superior today if it takes forever to load it. But if you own EZDrummer 3, there's about 5-ish individual funk-themed presets you might want to check out, and some of them sound pretty good. Oh, good, it loaded up. So if you go down here, you kind of have like a blues, funk, jazz jammed into one. And I think this song I created earlier, just right before I started streaming today, this is from the vintage and custom MIDI, in case you care about those details. But check these out, man. Here's Big Funk. This sounds a little modern to my ears, but it's still beautiful EZDrummer stuff. Here's Big Funk from the EZDrummer 3 library. So here we have dry funk. Should be respecting the progress bar over here. That snare sounds cool, man. When it comes to that staccato vibe, you almost think marching snare drum, and that kind of sounds like a marching snare drum. Total ignorance speaking right now, but that's how I feel about it. Greg, welcome, man. Welcome. Funkadelicious. Super sustaining kick on that. Funky, round. Something I was considering when I was in pre-production for this video is there a difference between funk, the genre, and funky, the adjective? I almost feel like there is, but whatever. Anyway, those are Superior Drummer presets, and custom vintage, just my opinion that it's good for funk because it sounds old school like that. All I put was great tight sounds, so I don't really have a preset to select, but let's just hear it right out of the gate. This is an older EZX. Sounds awesome. Let's just try another one real quick. I don't feel a thing, it's called. Damped. That first preset's what I'm judging on. I'm just kind of playing around for a minute. And I keep mixing the volume, which is actually behind me on screen, so you might not realize it. Yeah, and as for Superior, the 𝗪𝗪𝗧, which 𝗪𝗪𝗧 was it? Oh, 𝗪𝗪𝗧 has a booth, so that's just my opinion on getting a less ambient, less decay on your drums opinion. Good harsh hi-hat for funk. My opinion, that's just what the funk I know. A bunch of presets here too. Let's try dirty real quick. Yeah, that snare sounds ugly now. I bet if you take the velocity of those ghost notes down a little bit, it'll clean that beat up though, so let's not judge it too harshly. After, Hitmaker. I actually have full overviews for at least like 10 products that I'm reviewing today. I just don't want to break too much. I'll put all those down in the description. I do a complete overview of Hitmaker. Why the heck did I choose this though? Oh, it has a reggae preset. Yeah. This sounded cool. So just my opinion. Respect the loading bar. Hope everyone's doing fantastic today. Thank you so much for coming out to the live stream this Saturday. Appreciate it. I see some members here. Donation from John. Thank you so much, John. Whew, this thing sounds sick. Turn up a little. Yeah. Plus you got a bunch of toys. Got a bunch of toys with this. Jazz Sessions. What did I put? I just put generically Jazz Sessions because it has a lot of just natural sounding kits that aren't over processed, and you can just find the one you like, man. I'm just hitting play. Oh boy, this is a huge SDX too. This thing's enormous. It has 4 separate libraries. Come on, baby. Load. Little bongy for me, but bop sticks. All right. Just want to hear a different bass drum. All right, I have it on a plate preset, which is not what I was looking for at all, but they've got plenty of dry and basic presets, really tighten up the sound. I just selected brushes by accident, so let's just get away from jazz, but killer, clean, traditional sounding kits right there. New York Volume 1, which is it, I think it's Avatar. I need to check my work. It's a bummer there's not perfect continuity between some of the products, I believe. Let me just look it up right here real quick. kill this. Oh, New York Volume 1 Avatar. Yeah. So New York Volume 1, that is the 𝗬𝗪𝗓𝗓𝗓 2 library. So if you ever bought 𝗬𝗪𝗓𝗓𝗓 2, you own this SDX. And if you never bought 𝗬𝗪𝗓𝗓𝗓 2 and you like this SDX, buy New York Volume 1. And when you install it, it's called New York Avatar. It's a little confusing. But why did I put this down? I think Mono Funk, there it is. It's a good tight kick there. It's quite the contrast between the kick tone and the snare tone. Lastly, so anyway, this is kind of like an official funk preset as opposed to my opinion, but my opinion rang in one more time for funk, which is the Roots sticks. And Roots is 2 separate SDXs. I think you purchase them separately, and sticks means this SDX was performed with drumsticks instead of other, hand striking tools. I forget the official term to group all sticks, brushes, blah, blah, blah together. But I kind of felt the same way about this one as I did the reggae, though the sounds aren't the same, just the same vibe. This SDX just has so many, I don't know if wild is the right term, but let's go over to close real quick. Super tight kit besides the ring of the snare. Mono close. That sounds sick. From the vibe I'm coming from, old school traditional funk. We're going to move on to EZBass, but that was it for 𝗬𝗪𝗓𝗓𝗓. Let's check out some EZBass products real quick. And I might keep, just so it doesn't get too monotonous, maybe I'll keep EZDrummer or 𝗬𝗪𝗓𝗓𝗓 up just to have like a little, I don't want to say backbeat because none of those funk drums were backbeat based at all, man. They were really busy, but just kind of keep a little bit of background so the bass doesn't get too boring. But there's only so many EZBass products that say, hey, this is funk. But when I was thinking about it myself, I was just thinking about like, gosh, they sampled so many traditional instruments, and all those traditional instruments just work with funk. You're used to hearing them there already. And another thing that is coming to a realization, in case you're ignorant to these genres of music, is, a lot of disco. I remember growing up thinking about disco and just going, that theme is not me. I'm a metalhead. I'm a hard rock guy. That theme doesn't work for me. But, as I gained some experience in life and as a player myself growing up, a lot of disco can be confused as funk just when it comes to the chops and stuff. It's, maybe the 4 on the floor drum beat just makes it a little bit too happy compared to funk, but man, it's just a lot of similar elements between those 2 genres. So anyway, that was my thinking when it comes to this stuff, but there's really no funk product except for the funk fusion. And we already covered this EBX at the beginning of the stream because we were talking about fusion and I played all the presets back to back. There's no need to do that again. All those tones can, for the most part, transfer over to the funk theme, It's just, I kind of stay away from effects on bass myself. The genres of music that I write and perform are usually busier playing, not much room for effects, not much space for effects. But all these drier tones just, they're great. They're great. But the modern core library for EZBass 1, I'm sure when EZBass 2 comes out, this will be its own EBX as well, in case you're watching this late. Hopefully EZBass is coming out this year. We'll see what happens. Come on, EZBass 2. We'll see what happens. But there is an actual official Funk King preset here, which I like this. This is a great thing. And let me choose an actual funk song instead of the fusion song. Let me go over to, I don't know, whatever this is. This is at 100. Let me change my tempo in my DAW. Remember, I'm going to leave the effects open in case you do lean in and you're like, I like that. What are my options? My effects panel's open right here. It's too bad my MIDI control's not working because I would drop the drums. Just barely put a beat in the back so we can bob our head a little better. Yeah, just happens to work. That's pretty cool. This Funk King now, actually I'm gonna hit pause. Funky Octave is here, and I don't know, you can't just press play on a preset like that, especially if you're playing down low on the neck. It sounds awful. But up here, you just have an octaver. So that's really the only official funk marketing when it comes to the EZBass Modern, which comes with EZBass. If you own EZBass, you have those two presets. That first one I demoed is great. Now this is just a vintage sounding bass, so I just think this works right out of the gate. You guys can't really see it because it's behind me. Let's see here. The volume knob's here. I'm just going to mix it a little bit as some of these presets pop out. So if you hear volume changes and you don't see why, that's why I'm actually mixing it right there. But I don't want to go through all these. I don't know if it's subliminal because this pickup guard is there, but I grew up around a Fender Jazz, so I always saw this on basses, and I just have nostalgia that this is a vintage sounding bass just because that piece of metal is there. Yeah, it's a great direct sound. Now, the Americana EBX, just my opinion, this thing just sounds old. I actually don't know what, I should have looked this up for the stream. I don't know what bass model this actually is that they're mimicking. But it has that traditional farting bass attack. Make sure I'm not distorting real quick. No. So any of these drier presets, it just has that. I was kind of telling you earlier, my pre-production for this, it's like all of these EBXs that just sample classic sounding instruments, it's going to sound like classic instruments. You can just throw it on there. My opinion, of course. I felt the same way about disco. You guys heard me kind of preaching about disco. This thing has old school organic vibes. A lot of these work. It's kind of like that last EBX I just had loaded up, Americana. It's like there's something about the attack. It's like a flub to it on the lower end register. Of course, you know what? I already talked about fretless with Fusion, and I just feel the same way about it is all. I don't think it actually has like a funk preset. It doesn't. Mark, I didn't even know Telecaster basses existed. Thank you for chiming in on that. Never even heard of that before, so it's my ignorance. Thanks for chiming in on that. Oh, Henrik, what's up? Welcome, Henrik. Right on. Thanks for coming, Henrik. Good to see you, man. Good to see you in chat. So I just feel the same way about fretless. I actually don't like what that tone sounds like right now with this song. But in different songs in my, all right, change the song. Let's try this other song right here. All these songs that I'm playing are all funk songs from Toontrack. I didn't memorize what product they're coming from unless it says core song. So here's a funk song that actually comes with EZBass if you've only bought EZBass. Actually sounds way better. Luckily that EZDrummer drum beat's kind of keeping up with this too. I don't want to play too long here. I think I played here earlier. Dude, the fretless EZX, I mean, I don't want the headache of learning how to program fretless things for this EBX product, but I just jam my regular MIDI I like through it, and I love what it sounds like. So if we share the same opinion, then there's no rules, man. That's why they call it theory, right? It sounds awesome. Alphabetically, the next one's Funk Fusion. We already talked about it, but gospel, this is in my opinion. And what's cool about this, I think this is the one with the articulations. Yeah. This has no pick articulation, it has two separate finger articulations. It's just the fingers are in a different position over the pickups, whether it's closer to the neck or closer to the bridge. So that's that's kind of like a power feature. If you only want fingers, well, guess what? Gospel has twice as many sounds. It's super cool. I'm not sure, why did I choose this though? That's the only reason why I chose it. Most of the funk is usually played with fingers. I don't know if I've ever seen someone play funk with a pick that was, you know, presenting themselves as a funk player. What's cool about what I remember about the gospel EBX though, it has a lot of modern tones where you're getting really bass heavy. It's not having that low mid boost like in more traditional genres or more era, in a more traditional era of bass. It has a more modern sound and you get a lot of scoopage, and I kind of love that as well. So this is just a DI though. Let's just hear a preset or two. It's a perfect example right here. Let's get rid of that reverb a little bit because we're playing fast. Some serious sub frequencies coming out on that low thump, and I'm in ear monitors. I can only imagine how bassy that is. I really like the gospel. I might ignore the name gospel because it makes me think such a particular theme, and just load that thing up and listen to those presets with an open mind. There's a lot of gospel stuff there, but why I chose this to present, in my opinion, for funk is because it has so many finger articulations that sound different. Might be really beneficial, all right? Definitely skipping hard rock. The session player, EBX, this is cool because when it comes to the MIDI, it just has so many different genres of music in it. It's 2 o'clock, 1 o'clock. Okay, we got some time. I can run it a little late too. Kind of want to complete this guide anyway. Session player is kind of like a Swiss Army knife bass. Plus, I think that's a P bass. Again, I should have looked it up, but I think I recognize that as an older vintage P bass. You can't go wrong with a P bass. That's like playing a Fender Jazz or playing a P bass, kind of the similar thing, man. It's really jack of all trades, you know. It's just, do you want the sound of new strings or old strings? Change your strings or don't change your strings, you know, and it's just going to work. So, but I believe this has a funk preset. Why did I want this? No, actually, I chose this just because of the little soapbox speech I just said. It's just a vintage sounding bass, and a lot of classic traditional funk just has those typical sounds. Oh yeah, it has that hollow mid. It's obviously a Fender, right? It's almost like listening to a single coil Strat compared to a guitar with humbuckers. It has that obvious in your face, hey, here's a hollower sounding tone. Let me just pick one real quick. Amp and tape. Dirty and clean. Not really thinking funk with this, but right out of the gate, the DI just makes me go, yep, no problem. That'll do just about anything. The 80s electric EBX. The 80s also comes with an extra library of a cute little keyboard. We saw that before EZKeys 2 came out, and we all knew EZKeys 2 was coming out. That was a fun time a year or so ago. But this just, I would put this next to gospel a little bit. It's more modern sounding. Yeah, That's all. More modern sounding. And this has interesting noises. You know how you kind of when I hear a bass product from Toontrack, I definitely listen for the noises, whether it's fret noise or buzz or how the fingers sound when they touch the string. This one has cool, unique characteristics with its noises. It sounds like I'm hitting a compressor somewhere. Nope. Probably a compressor just inside here. Yeah, there's a compressor right here. All right, it was that compressor there. Hey, that compressor works. We just happen to be on a slap lick, and this sounds just like a very easy default slap tone. So I wouldn't avoid the 80s EVX if you're looking for slap stuff. Oh, there's actually Slapper's Delight. It's a little overdriven. I actually like the last one better, but... So that's it for EZKeys when it comes to funk, and very few of those things up front are Toontrack actually saying, hey, here's our funk stuff, we're going to market it to you that way. And then a lot of it, as I was trying to disclaim, was just my opinion on what was worthwhile pitching to you as a good product for funk, in my opinion, of course. So Mark, rock on, buddy. Thanks you so much for coming, man. Appreciate it very much. But then there's EZKeys, which I was saying to you guys. No, I was saying that about Fusion. There's nothing marketable. There's no marketing when it comes to Fusion and EZKeys, but when it comes to funk, there is a bit. I don't think it's straightforward with the sounds, more so for the MIDI. You'll find a ton of funk MIDI. We can see the filter right there. But I did draw down a couple funk songs. I don't know if the funk songs don't translate like old school guitar funk riffs. They're more chord progression. So I don't know if I want such busy drum playing behind it. But let's check this out. What I write there. I mean, sure, pianos can work for funk, so I don't think there's any reason to seek out every analog piano and say, listen to this analog piano. We can all do that on our own time. Those are all kind of the same theme. Depends on the player, right? Depends on the MIDI you're using or the player that's playing. Will that analog acoustic piano sound work for funk? But let's see. Oh yeah, session organ. I mean, especially if you're playing. When I think funk and keys, I think of like progressive licks and leads and stuff. So session organ will definitely do funk, in my opinion. It's not marketed as that, but this is a monster 𝗘𝗢𝗔𝗥, and 𝗘𝗢𝗥 is a sound expansion for EZKeys too. But let's see how it works. I don't see any licks here. Let's just hear this real quick. This should be played at 100. It's at 116. Let's make sure EZBass is muted. It is. Oh, these bass pedals are actually being played right now. I think that's what I hear down the low end. Let me try a different song real quick. Yeah, man. It's pretty cool. So does it say it's made for funk? No. Does it work for funk? And that's my opinion, yes. Something about singer-songwriter down here. Even though this is a piano and I just did a disclaimer, us not to just audition a bunch of pianos, there's something like honky about the low end of this. Maybe, hopefully this MIDI will trigger it. Maybe a different song will do it. Yeah. Should listen to that first note. Maybe there's a lower note over here. Even though this is an analog sampled instrument, there's something about sounds kind of like electric piano-y, which is perfect for funk. I don't know. I felt like writing it down. That's how I felt about that. Now, I have full overview videos on the Soul Rhodes 1 and the Soul Rhodes 2 libraries. These two libraries equal the Soul Rhodes product, and it'd almost be similar to session organs, except that session organs totally sounds like an organ, but when you bring over the Soul Rhodes stuff, you get all those tremolo effects that people like to hear, you know, whether it's soul or, in this case, funk. And both of those libraries really kill that vibe nonstop. There's so many options for that, so I don't want to stick around that for too long. And the Soul Rhodes 2, it's a similar product to Soul Rhodes 1. It's just using a more modern Rhodes instrument. It's all the difference between those two catalogs. Dream Machine, if I remember correctly, the impression right out of the gate, it's very nostalgic. Is that 100? 100, good. Yeah, this sounds like funk. Let's hear this for a moment. See a couple hearts going out in the chat. I appreciate that. Hey, like the stream, guys, and hit subscribe if you're a lurker. Today's stream's definitely different vibe and flow than normal, but I want to do the same thing every single month, you know? Plus, I like these guides. It's like when people ask me or complain about funk and fusion in the future, I can now just refer to my own material and answer the question. So, a lot of this Dream Machine also has Rhodes. So which Rhodes do you get? I don't know. I feel like the Dream Machine, it has a few Rhodes presets. I feel like that holds its weight because that sounds totally different as opposed to the other Rhodes. It's kind of less processed and more traditional. So it depends on what you're going for. I feel like when I hear keys on funk, not that I know everything about funk, I don't. I'm more of a classic traditional funk guy. But I usually feel like it's a bright lead with a large amount of effects on it, especially from traditional electric piano instruments. What else did I have? Speaking of that, that's just what I have. I have the electric grand, classic electrics, and retro electrics left, and I think they all work. And I don't think any of these are promoted as funk instruments, but boy, does it sound familiar. Thank you, Scott. I appreciate it. Thank you, Scott. So electric grand, let's check this out, man. It's weird. Like years ago when I downloaded this product, I hit the button or I'll pull up my keyboard and play. I'm like, I don't know what I'm going to do with this. I'm out of here. And then, a year or two after you buy the product, you actually apply it at the appropriate time and you're like, this thing's amazing. So I kind of gotten over of judging things right out of the gate. There's something to them. This is such an obvious freaking sound. Let's try a different funk song real quick. This is 87 BPMs. See how late it's getting. I'm going to do, before I sign off for the day. I'm going to do a little monotonous read off of products, of all the MIDI products, because there's a bunch of them for funk. It's really cool. But let's hear what this sounds like at 87, new song. And this is from the Funk MIDI pack, EZKeys Funk MIDI pack. So this is not core library music anymore. That beat doesn't work anymore. Let's try a different one. Let's try this 120 thing. This is from the Funk Riff MIDI pack. There's a difference between the Funk MIDI pack for EZKeys and the Funk Riff MIDI pack EZKeys. Those are two separate products. Sounds pretty darn happy. I guess we're checking out MIDI for a second. Let's check out this thing at 93 BPMs. It said M Funk MIDI pack. All right. Oh, Modern Funk MIDI pack. All right. I kind of did some acronyms. I'm kind of guessing at what they mean. But we'll talk about MIDI right before I sign off today. So that was at 93. All right. Oh, that's groovy. You turn up EZDrummer just a hair. John, you're the best, man. You are the best. Besides you, Anthony, you're number one. I appreciate your support so much, John. Man, this is such an interesting, I don't know, that first impression when I hit play on this EKX, it just sounded like the most familiar thing.
Glad to be the best.
Yeah, baby. Yeah, baby. So there's two other Toontrack products, and one of them's called, well, no, we just did Electric Grand Classic Electrics. I think it's these ones. It's one of those few cases like we were talking about in Superior Drummer where they don't name them the same thing here as they do when they sell it to you. So I got to use see if I just visually recognize it. Yeah, this is Classic Electrics, yeah. And this is a very Rhodes-looking instrument. It's obviously a Rhodes-looking instrument. Let's see what the... All right, a preset says rotary speaker, so this is obviously a Rhodes. Yeah. Like when I was talking at the beginning of the stream about, I think, Herbie Handcock, for example, like that's the tone he opens up the song with. Check out Stratus, Herbie Handcock. Makes perfect sense when it comes to funk for me. And so this Electric R MK1 and the Electric W200A, they both come with the same electric, Classic Electrics EKX. Both of these libraries come with the electric. Oh, I just said it. I don't want to tongue twist again. Got tremolo effect coming back. We're having a very jazzy moment, I feel like. I feel like I just finished watching Laverne and Shirley, and now I'm going to go to a speakeasy bar or something, you know? Rotary. Let's hear the rotary speaker real quick. I've got headphones on, so I'm hearing it, the stereo clearly. Whoops. Dude, it has a lot of character. Last product we're going to look at. Retro Clavinet and Retro Planet. I need more chops than sustaining. Let's see if this does more chops than sustaining, because this is a killer tone, but I don't want to hear it like that. I want to hear it kind of riffing. MELMA, crap. I don't know what that acronym means. This is one of the Funk MIDI pack, MIDI packs. Does not come with the core program, but let's check this out. It looks like the MIDI looks a little aggressive down here. Yeah. Such an obvious classic tone here. That drum beat works. Let me turn it up. Oh, this is clean funk. Did I make note of this? No, I should. Wah effect. Guitar-like. The drums and the MIDI just happen to be shaking hands, so it's not a coincidence. So besides the clavinet, we have Retro Planet, which I have no clue what this really is in real life, but it has a tone I recognize. Definitely. That riff and that beat's not cooperating, but use your imagination. I almost think Van Halen right now, the way he taps. I don't know, it just sounds like someone tapping on a guitar to me. Whatever. I knew this would be too much content to cover everything I wanted. I was hoping to make it here 30 minutes ago and then actually put some demos together. But turns out it's just going to be an overview of core programs that have to do with fusion and funk, presets that have to do with fusion and funk, and MIDI products that have to do with fusion and funk. And we already talked about the fusion products that do. So let's just talk about the MIDI products before I go. And let me turn this down as cool background music real quick. And then just ramble off some stuff to you guys. Thanks for coming to the stream. Peaches, what's up? Again, if you made it this far in the stream or the restream, I probably missed a bunch of stuff that I wanted to present, but if you go to shootieschool.com and you look for my funk and fusion guide, you'll see me list all these products, all the preset names and all the MIDI product names in case you really want to know what's available specifically for funk and fusion. But just to complete this video and make it feel complete, there's a ton of funk Toontrack products. If you own EZDrummer 1, which is also the pop rock EZX, depending on when you purchase it, it has up to 200 individual funk grooves, and a lot of the earlier products just gave you boatloads of segregated grooves that didn't organize them into songs. So that's why I'm giving you a number and not a song count. If you own EZDrummer 2, it has one single funk song. And if you never bought EZDrummer 2, you can buy the modern vintage EZX that has one funk song. Same thing with EZDrummer 3, it has one funk song. We're talking drums, by the way, not, I think it's obvious talking about drums right now. There's one funk song and it's awesome. We already heard it today in the stream. I think that funk song is killer. If you own Superior Drummer 2, it has one funk song, or if you don't and you buy the New York Volume 1 SDX, that has one funk song. Same thing with Superior Drummer 3. There's one single funk song included there. And just wanted to express that. So if you end up with a funk project, you know somewhere funk MIDI is somewhere, you know? Or if you're like, well, that's one song to play with, but I want to expound my options, there's options. It blows up big time. We're just getting into it. Anyway, EZBass has 5 funk songs. If you just buy EZBass outright, there's 5 funk songs, plus there's some folders that just have extra bass line funk riffs. Pretty cool. EZKeys 1 has 3 funk songs. And that's not repackaged into anything. So you have to buy, you missed the boat to get those songs, I believe. Okay. If you owned EZKeys 1 previously, all you do is install EZKeys 1 and you can get that MIDI back. EZKeys 2, which is new about 1.5 years or so, that has 4 funk songs. We probably heard a little bit of that today, okay? As for the we talked, that was core programs. Those were all songs that are included with your core program. So if you own EZDrummer, Superior Drummer, EZBass, or EZKeys, you at least have that amount of funk content right now that you can play with after the stream if you so feel inspired. As for EZXs, which are sound expansions for EZDrummer 3, if you own Americana, it has one funk song, but I mean, it's subjective. It calls itself funk. It comes up in the funk metadata, but I don't know. Hear it for yourself. I don't even know if I agree. 𝗪𝗏𝗪𝗡 has about 65 individual funk grooves, and I just have like a soft heart for the 𝗪𝗏𝗪𝗡. It sounds so cool and gritty and unique. The Funk Masters EZX, which is from EZDrummer 1, which is actually still really cool, my opinion, of course. It has 25 funk songs, but just keep in mind that back in the EZDrummer 1 days, there was less MIDI per song. So I would say that would average out to about 15 modern funk songs when it comes to a content point of view. Still a ton, actually, still a ton, okay? The Pop EZX, which is old school, that has one funk song, but what's cool about it is it emphasizes toms. So if you like punk and you like toms, you might want to see if you have the Pop EZX. It's a pretty cool track, actually. It was fun to run into that yesterday. I was hoping to play with this stuff more, but we're here now. The Pop Rock EZX, which is what I mentioned earlier. If you owned EZDrummer 1, you already have this, and that has up to 200 individual funk grooves. The Classic EZX has one funk song, and I feel the same way as Americana. It's just subjective. Listen to it. Is that funk? Is it not funk? I don't know, but Toontrack calls it funk, so that's why I'm mentioning it. The Vintage Rock, I got a typo I got to fix. Ton of typos on this. I wrote this so fast the past 24 hours in my spare time. The Vintage Rock EZX has a cool yet subjective collection of funk grooves. So I like the grooves. I just don't know how quote unquote funky they actually were. Now, when it comes to SDXs, now we're talking about Superior Drummer. The Custom and Vintage SDX, that has 5 funk songs, and I actually like that SDX to be used for traditional productions of funk. So if you're an SDX user and you have that old SDX, I just hop right in there and have some fun, write some funk. New York Volume 1 has one song, New York Volume 3 has one song, and the Roots SDX has one song. I love that Roots kit for traditional funk as well. Now we're talking about just drum MIDI packs. This is a list. Remember, drum MIDI packs work for Superior or EZDrummer. You just need one or the other. It doesn't matter which one you need to use a drum MIDI pack. I'm just going to list through them real fast just so you know they exist. Maybe it'll get into your muscle memory in the future when you want funk stuff. You're like, yeah, Sean was talking about like 60 plus songs just from a couple MIDI packs. So Backbeats, we're talking about drum MIDI packs. Backbeats has 2 songs. Backbeats is like a collection of different genres. That's why there's only 2 songs. Funk drums, 9 songs. Modern funk grooves, 16 songs in a single MIDI pack. That's more than the average, so that MIDI pack's probably a deal. Monster Drum MIDI pack has about 40 individual grooves, so that's an eclectic pack that has multiple genres. Same with Monster Drum MIDI pack 2, that has 2 funk songs. Soul Grooves has 1 song. Pocket Grooves has 4 songs. Rock Songs has 2 funk songs. Session Drums has 4 songs. We're almost through it. Just want to give you an idea of how much is actually out there if you were to ever want it. I was surprised to find funk MIDI here. The Songwriter Fill Pack 1 has 50 drum fills that are funky. Songwriter Fill Pack 2 has 70 funky drum fills. Songwriter Pack 2 has 1 song, and Songwriter Pack 3 has 2 funk songs. So that's just an ASS ton of MIDI songs. You like that workaround, Anthony? Oh, that's my workaround. Now, EZBass does have 2 extra little snippets of funk stuff. In the Funk Fusion EBX, there's 1 funk song. The other ones are probably fusion songs. And in the Session Player EBX, which we saw today, I think, we might even have heard it today, that has 1 funk song. I also have a complete overview of the Session EBX. Check it out. As for EZBass MIDI packs, not expansions, but just MIDI packs, there's a modern funk bass MIDI pack that's an extra 10 songs. We're almost out of here. EZKeys MIDI songs. Now we're going from EZBass to EZKeys. We should have checked this. I wish I remembered that we would have checked this out. The Session organ. It's one of the first EKXs I showed today, saying you could use this for funk. There actually was a funk song, a part of that EKX, so check that out. And there's 4 EZKeys MIDI packs for funk. One's called Funk Keys, one's called Funk Riff Keys. Melodic mallets, I didn't get to that today. I wouldn't even know what to do with it anyway. But, you know, xylophone type thing, glockenspiel type thing. Supposedly, there's 1 song in there. Then Modern Funk Keys has 10 funk songs, so. Well, I told you I was going to keep my head down and trailblaze, Anthony. I believe that's what I did. I wonder if I missed any chat. Almost 100% members today. I appreciate that so much, everybody. Really appreciate that. Oh, Burns, what's up, dude? Same here. Same here. Yeah, it has been a while, man. All regulars today. I love it. Peaches came in late, but boy, do I appreciate just seeing you coming into the chat. It makes my day. Anthony, you rock. I appreciate you so much. Oh, go over to shootieschool.com and my brand new grid editor course just came out a month ago. If you're looking to figure out how to navigate EZDrummer 3's grid editor on an elite and professional level, similar to my skill set, go pick that up over there at shootieschool.com. Come join me next month, first Saturday of every month for a live stream. I wonder what I'm going to do. I haven't decided on it yet. I was just looking to get this behemoth stream out of the way. I'll think about it the next few days. You got any ideas, pop it down in chat. Or the comments below, since chat's about to close up. And yeah, thank you so much, guys. I appreciate it so much. I got to run to work, and this is the Fusion and Funk Guide to Toontrack products. I hope I hit it on the head for you. Rock on.